Welcome back to Kara Cup number 6. We got another game from round 3 here. It's going to be Tarn Armor playing as the random against Star Lancer playing as the Cunef, again on the Shallows. Very fun map there, as we were talking about earlier. And actually, this is a map that I really am always afraid to fight Cunef on because of the fact that like it's difficult to ignore this kind of choke point here. Like if you can play this choke point well as Cunef, you can be so annoying for your opponent. Your carrier has the indirect missiles, your siege cruisers are very much frontline units, and yet they also have that barrage ability. It's very difficult to get past this, even though you can go around on the sides, but you always have to worry about something just popping out there, you know what I mean? So this is a map that actually, like, I know it sounds a little odd to think of like the railgun macro map as favoring Cunef, but I think it does actually. But let us see what faction Tarn Armor is playing. Actually, I didn't realize that's important. Coalition, of course, because every time you play random, you roll Coalition, right? Let's see here. Star Lancer going for pretty early Sandskimmer fabrication. Tarn Armor going for the earlier LAV fabrication, and he is already producing them as well. Interested to see what he will try to do with these LAVs here. If they can find their way around the carrier. Fat carrier, man. This is a big problem with the Shallows, actually. If they would widen this up just a little bit, you know, that'd be very nice. And then on the other side as well, just a little bit like that. And then your units wouldn't get stuck trying to find their way around the carrier, but that often happens on this map. You can kind of mitigate the problem by rotating the carrier this way so that it's like the back of it is facing out, and then they'll pop out. They find it a lot easier that way. Let's see. So Star Lancer are actually going very macro. No, he's not. I saw a production cruiser on the queue and I figured it was a big macro build, but it's going to be an assault ship rush here. We see the second production cruiser on the way. Assault ship fabrication also being finished here. That's also going to allow him to have the production capability to outdo this LAV spam from Tarn Armor. So this could be pretty dangerous here. It is always tricky to do assault ship pushes on this map because the carrier can block like mega effectively just by going here and turning that way, and these assault ships will like never get past it. But you can attack the second still. Tarn Armor's probe is going to catch one production cruiser, but he does not know that there are two of these just yet. That is still not known to him. These LAVs are going to hit right about now, though, and so I think Star Lancer needs to be making sand skimmers at this point. And he is. Making 2 at a time there now. There is kind of a possibility for a meat grinder here if Tarn Armor wants to. He can also slow down a lot by putting a turret down. But he'd have to act fast for that. And Star Lancer is going to move out with this carrier here. That will stop the meat grinder effect. And what I mean by that, by the way, a salvager going down there for Star Lancer. That's a good pickup for Tarn Armor. But this is what I mean by the meat grinder. Units pop out and they just die instantly, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I call the meat grinder. But yeah, Tarn Armor going to see, okay, carrier's here, I better move. But he actually has done eco damage, if you will, just by having this carrier move out to here instead of being there. So he'll be happy with this. He's fine with this early game here. But he does know, I think, that assault ships are up. I think he saw that. And by the way, Frosty was telling me that you can see assault ship tech on the carrier here somewhere. Wait, where is it? So this one's railgun tech. Oh yeah, there it is. That thing right there, that's assault ship tech. And then when they get air tech, like the lights on the carrier start blinking somewhere. But yeah, this thing that you see right here pops up when they get assault ship tech. Anyway, he knows that assault ships are coming. If he didn't know before, he knows now. I mean, he can see them. So he's just getting railgun fabrication, definitely the correct choice there. And he's getting a little bit of a run by here, and the assault ships didn't catch. No, they caught it, So one of them's going to be dispatched to go help out with this. But there's potential for another couple salvager kills here, and I love this. When you see the counter unit from your opponent coming out and hitting the field, you shouldn't just immediately say like, oh, well, I guess there's nothing I can do with my LAVs here. You should still try to find a window where they can get some use. That's exactly what Tarn Armor has done here, and he will lose a lot to the carrier, but I think that is worth it to be trading for salvagers there. He should also lose this base runner, but that's not an issue either, I don't think. These assault ships actually being quite awkward in this. So probably Star Lancer should click here. Oh, he sees it now. Oh, I think he'll still stop this, but that's a good question now. Haven't really caught what's been going on in the back line there, but I assume a couple more salvager kills went down when Tarn Armor ran to the deep location there. Oh, it's going to be close, but the artifact does not quite score. But Tarn Armor is 100% prepared for this push here. He's got railguns coming out already. I'd like to see him get the carrier production upgrade once he has the money for it as well. Just to be able to make those 2 at a time. I'm not sure actually if his eco is that strong though. Oh yeah, because he doesn't have a support cruiser back at home yet, so that's probably has to be his priority, doesn't it? But he even got Power Reserve 1, you saw that. So he's going to be doing more damage to those assault ships than he would have otherwise. Getting the artifact extraction would have been awesome for him, but of course that just wasn't an option. But he's going to be just fine here. He's ready to hold this. I don't think that very much damage is going to be done here. And his probe also has kind of scouted the location of those production cruisers, so he knows, you know, basically exactly what's going on here. These 3 LAVs kind of running in for naught. They could boost out. I'd like to see that. But yeah, railguns beginning to hit on these assault ships here. See, one of them already going to go down. They actually have kind of found the salvagers, so these guys definitely need to be running. They don't want to take this damage here, but I don't think they'll go down anyway. Oh, run, run! No, don't go here. Ooh, that's a little risky, but it's not gonna matter though. Support cruisers finished with Tarn Armor. Probably just wants to move up there, and then he will be on 2 base. His opponent, meanwhile, could get to 3 base really quickly. So at this position, it's important for Tarn Armor to make another support cruiser as fast as possible and try to expand onto a 3rd base. He's getting the production upgrade. I approve. But yeah, definitely he needs to make a support cruiser about as fast as he can. What is resources looking like here? Yeah, it won't be too long before he has the requisite CUs therefore. And he didn't lose any salvagers, you notice. Probably he ought to just turn on the healing beams now, just try to heal those guys up, but small things. Not sure where he's spent his money here, but it's not into a support cruiser. Can't say I agree with that, because I think, you know, there's always the danger that a double PC push is going to transition back into full eco. But that is alright. I think he's been putting his money in upgrades is what he's been doing here. And I can't really say I disagree with that so much, but I still would like to see him prioritize eco just a little bit more. Do look at the sensors coverage for Tarn Armor though. Look at this. LAV here, probe here. He sees like this whole part of the map he knows is in his control. That's really cool. Oh, and he's getting support cruiser anti-air. Actually, I really like that because you know when your opponent goes for interceptor fabrication that they may be following it up with when they go for assault ship fabrication, they may be following it up with an interceptor transition, and that is indeed the case here. By the way, look at the carrier. You should be able to see like what changes when he gets that tech. See that light there? So that right there is the tell that the Conif player has interceptor fabrication. Anyway. 3 of them already queued up as well. The production tab seems to be bugs, but you can tell he is actually making a support cruiser right there. And support cruiser anti-air going to finish in about 15 seconds. That's like about the time that this second interceptor will be done. Tarn Armor completely ready for this air transition. That's really cool to see. You might think his LAVs are a little bit exposed to the air transition, but they're not really. Unless he moves out with these railguns, they could be exposed. But LAVs actually like do pretty well against interceptors because interceptors have like no health. They're very easy to kill. Starlancer then going to go into siege cruiser fabrication. Tarn Armor makes a support cruiser here. So it looks like both players still just kind of building up here. I think we should just kind of fast forward to the point where something more exciting happens. So AAV fabrication coming down for Tarn Armor here. Afterburner upgrade for Starlancer. I like that quite a lot. Okay, and now it looks as though Tarn Armor kind of wants to move out here in the middle. I'd be a little worried. If you're getting support cruiser anti-air, you probably are expecting that there's some kind of an air transition on the way. So I'd be just a little bit worried to move out with my army in the middle. Maybe I'd put down some anti-air turret posts or something like that. But These armor units took a little bit of fire from the railguns, but nothing big there. Siege Cruiser fabrication is finished. We should see those on the way immediately. I'd like to just point out here, like, Starlancer has gotten Siege Cruiser, or no, sorry, Interceptors, but he hasn't used them at all. They could, in the very least, be sniping out probes, but maybe he's trying to keep it hidden. That may be the case, but usually when your opponent is not making any units, you kind of get a feeling that there's an air transition anyway, so it's not really going to catch you off guard. And look at this, Tarn Armor double producing support cruisers. This I like, because I think he's going to use one of them for anti-air. Interceptors are being launched now. If you look at the upgrades here, it's full upgrades for Tarn Armor, no upgrades for Starlancer, and so these are going to be able to do pretty nice backstab. I think support cruiser anti-air just going to have some fun with these interceptors right here. They're staying in, you know, they're committed to this. I think because the Sand Skimmers think they can pick up the kill there, which is probably true, but losing all those interceptors for him may not even be worth it. If Tarn Armor had some AAVs, he might be able to save this. I don't think he will, though, but I think he's okay, though. I don't think that's really that bad of a loss. Meanwhile, he's over here, could do some damage, but there are soul chips in the area, so of course he's just going to have to back away. But nice attempt from him, though. I like the idea of that. Double extraction came down for Tarn Armor. He lost his support cruiser, but he already has another one finished, so that'll just take its place. And I think Tarn Armor's still looking just fine here. There is now one siege cruiser out, we need to recognize that. Tarn Armor knows now it was validated that interceptor fabrication was finished, but there are no interceptors left. He can't know that, of course, it's still a little risky to move out in the middle, but it is the case. So, I mean, really there is no actual danger, though there may be a perceived one that an air transition could come out at this point. I'll fast forward again a little. Oh, that's a little too fast. Yeah, so he's taking 2 support cruisers and bringing them with his army. I love this. Because one of the big downsides to the Coalition army is that you don't auto-heal, but if you have support cruisers there, you do, you know what I mean? So one of them going to go back, cover the eco, the other one, so that's going to free up the carrier to move, and the other one is going to act as anti-air, it's going to act as healing for all of his units. I really like that move there. And these Sand Skimmers may think they have a window here, but they can't take this fight. Good barrage though, really good barrage. Going to land right on top of all of Tarn Armor's units here. That's actually really significant right there. It's a double barrage nonetheless. Oh, so that is really massive damage there actually that Starlancer has just caused. And the macro of these players is essentially even, so that could really be felt hard by Tarn Armor. I think he's going to have to back up to that support cruiser, try to get all these units healed up, because as you can see they're pretty much all damaged now. But he has got 1 deadly carrier, look at that thing. Power Reserve 4 is finished on it with 2 artifacts. His opponent actually is researching Power Reserve 4 as well, but he's going to be on cruise missiles pretty soon. And he's getting Assault Cruiser fabrication, which I think is good because that counters Sand Skimmers pretty nicely, but he probably wants to move into artillery off the back of that. But a carrier with this much power is not really going to be threatened by siege cruisers unless there's a lot of them. He's even got a missile battery out, so he's not going to get caught by air. I know talking with Tarn Armor about games that he's played. Oh no, blast drones. Ooh. Disgusting. But I know playing with, talking with Tarn Armor about games that he's played, he says like the worst thing is when you get air transition. He just hates that so much, and so he's really like he's never gonna get air transition. You know, like he's so committed to that idea. You see, there's 2 anti-air turret posts, support cruiser anti-air, and a missile battery. It's not gonna happen. And honestly, I like that actually. I mean, you may think that's overkill. Perhaps it is, but better that than underkill, if you know what I mean, right? Yep, it is going to be artillery cruiser fabrication. I like that a lot. Artillery is generally a good counter to Con-F artillery because, of course, they have the barrage, but they don't have the normal, you know, indirect fire ability. So you can really zone these things out with siege of your own. Another double extraction, by the way, being contested here for Tarn Armor. And that would be big. That would bring the scoreline to 4-0. I really think Starlancer needs to try to stop these, so it's kind of fortunate for him that Tarn Armor is just sort of sitting here, but I imagine he'll get moving pretty soon. Double barrage as well as carrier missiles comes down against Tarn Armor here, and look at the damage. Tarn Armor probably going to realize, maybe I don't want to be here. He's going to back away now. And that's all blind firing, mind you. There's no way that Starlancer is seeing that. AAV, you're going to shut down any potential blast drone shenanigans. Yeah, this is a rather blobbed army. If Tarn Armor had artillery right now, you know, he could really put the hurt down on this. Actually, there's quite a window for these Sandscreams to do damage, I think. Well, maybe not. I always underestimate the range that a carrier has. Look at that. A little bit of range. A little bit of range. It is, however, going to find that base runner, and there was a chance for a pretty nice, what is it called? A mortar from Tarn Armor, but it's not going to be done. Love to see smoke on that base runner, but it may be too late already. Yeah, artifact goes down. Railgun's hitting these siege cruisers, and now here comes a cruise missile. Gonna do a lot of damage to the carrier there. And oh no, this siege cruiser just came out of the carrier, and now it's already gonna die. It lived! The cruiser who lived. Wow. So the railguns weren't able to get their shot off because it left vision. How clutch, man, how clutch. Although he's going to be sent into the front line and probably die immediately, so that's a little unfortunate, but dang. Starlancer getting power reserve 6, that's crazy. Really prioritizing that Conf carrier power here, but I think he has it too far in the front line. He's doing good damage against Tarn Armor here, but Tarn Armor really should power up the armor here as well. Tarn Armor, I mean, it's in his name. Just to make sure he doesn't get killed by this. Yeah, siege cruisers are all very low. This one is going to go down for sure. Yep, there's the armor getting powered up. That one probably also going to get killed now. And Tarn Armor is producing siege as well. I don't really like moving this far forward with the carrier though, just because you know that Conf carrier is so deadly with the cruise missiles. But that being said, if you can get on top of it, it doesn't matter. So maybe that's his idea here. No, he's gonna back away. I think he should do one or the other. So backing away, not bad though. I appreciate the idea behind this. And with triple support cruiser healing him and power into the armor like this, he doesn't really need the 5th power slot that doesn't increase the armor, just gives you self-healing. Tarn Armor is going to be fine here. He's not going to lose his carrier or anything, I don't think. Even a mortar from the missile battery coming down, trying to do its thing. Does, you know, basically no damage, but it's a nice attempt there. Artillery about to finish for Tarn Armor, but they're all going to pop out right here, so that's a little unfortunate. Barrage is used by Starlancer. That was kind of a wasted barrage there. I think the siege cruiser is going to do more damage without that. Look at this, artillery pops out really on top of the enemy. That's not exactly where it wants to be, but yeah, so he needs to move away here. But this is a powerful force of artillery right here, and should sway the game. Also, power reserve 6 coming in here, so he can put 5 power into weapons. Cruise missile is ready, so I bet he wants to nuke now. It looks like actually the artillery is just gonna instantly die, but that's alright. Nuke is launched. Where's it gonna be? Probably right there, yep. Heinous damage! And now he can move in with the carrier, he can produce railguns, he can do whatever he wants. The game is basically over at this point. That carrier at 12% health. Not gonna last much longer. Oh wow. I'm just looking at the damage on those Conf cruise missiles, it's crazy. You know, amazingly it's not over yet. Perhaps Tarn Armor is stuck on this bit of terrain. That often happens actually. On this map in particular. Look how many support cruisers there are here, though. I don't know if any of them are ever going to get taken out by these Sandscammers. They're healing each other so much. I like that move from Tarn Armor. You know, the ultimate version of playing it safe. And Assault Cruiser going to come out from Tarn Armor. That's an interesting choice right there. But yeah, Coalition Carrier once again just proving it is supreme in every way. And it does take out that Conf carrier despite taking quite a beating. So, pretty good game for Tarn Armor. I really liked Really liked the way that he played it. I think he should have gotten up on 3 bases a little bit faster there, but very safe, you know, very anti-Conf, I guess you could say, because of course what you're worried about against Conf almost always is that they're just going to suddenly snipe your carrier. Very safely played, and I appreciate that, so that was a good game.